A big hello and a warm welcome to all of you amazing and beautiful people out there. Welcome to my channel. In this session, I'm going to be talking about the polarized divine feminine and polarized divine masculine and how they create this energy of every action. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So why does it work like this in the twin flame dynamic? That we will discuss. Why? People have asked me this question, why my masculine is doing this to me? Why is he putting me in so much pain, torture, suffering, misery? And then later on, he also has to go through it. Or so many channelings talk about how he is now lonely or sad or repenting or regretting, things like that. In some cases where the stalking is going on full on heavily, the feminines come back and say, no, but he's very happy in his life and he's very happy with his girlfriend. So I asked this question, how do you know that? Oh, because I've been stalking him. So as long as you're stalking someone, as long as you're chasing someone, be it mentally, be it emotionally, or be it physically in action, that person is definitely going to run away from you because you are in your polarized energy. If you were in union energies or if you were even in surrender stage, then this thing does not apply to you. And also it means sometimes that when you surrender, then he will go through what he is supposed to go through. Usually after surrender only it happens. There is a way that polarity works, okay? Especially opposite polarity. So in most of my sessions, we also get to learn so many new concepts and new things. So here you have to understand that what is the difference in being polar and being opposite, or what is this opposite polarity that you keep hearing. Maybe you've not heard it from many other places. Maybe you keep hearing it here. See, polarity is the separation. It is the alignment, or it is the orientation of something which is into two opposed poles, like negative and positive and day and night and male and female. Even in the electric current, we have these two opposing currents and energies, even in the magnets, But opposite is simply contrary to something, which is very simple, as we all know it. If you look for the mathematical definition, it says a polar opposite is the diametrically opposite point of a circle or a sphere. It is mathematically known as the antipodal point or antipode when referring to the earth. It is also an idiom often used to describe people and ideas that are opposite. Antipodal means relating to or situated on the opposite side of earth. And antipode, the word means that it is whatever it is, the direct opposite of something, the pole and its antipode. For example, the antipode of North Pole is the South Pole. In geography also, the antipode of any spot on earth is the point on the earth's surface which is diametrically opposite to it. Let's take another geographical example. The antipode of New Zealand's lower North Island lies in Spain. Okay. So guys, just like all of you, even I do my research from the internet only, or I read the books, or I just try to find out that what it means, So scientifically there can be many explanations to something. But sometimes I feel that most twin flames are like Ramanujan, the mathematician. Obviously I'm not going to compare everyone to the great mathematician Ramanujan. But you have to understand his nature. He was simply a person who would understand how to get the formulas. He would just know that, okay, this is what it is. This is how you reach it. But if you ask him to break it down, it would be very difficult for him to break it down, and he would refuse to do so. Even though he was really good in maths, but he would say that I cannot break down these formulas. I cannot prove it to you, whether these formulas are authentic or not. It is the goddess, she gave it to me because he was a devotee of goddess and he had a supernatural or some kind of connection with the goddess, and the goddess used to give him the formulas and she used to teach him all these things. And he just simply, when he shared it to the people, to outside world, he simply said that, when they asked him to explain it, he said, see, I don't want any name, fame, recognition, anything. I'm just here because you asked me to be here and I wanted to do something in math, so I'm here. But this is the truth. I believe in love and I have faith in my goddess, and whatever she tells me and whatever she gives me is correct and authentic. I will not like to question it. So for a team of mathematicians, they don't care, because mathematics is all about proving a point, hence proved. And that's why we say when a divine masculine, let's not call him divine or whatever, we just say masculine energy. Now we are not talking about a man or a woman also. Masculine energy in general has a very analytical mind, and as a polarized masculine, the person would either like to prove everything, or that person like to justify everything, or that person would want to break it up into, this and that. This is just when they talk to someone. Okay, mathematicians always need a proof. So people who are very analytical, they need a proof. Okay, now is it wrong to look for a proof, or is it wrong to be analytical or logical or practical? Of course not. But then it's not correct in certain places. So everything, every attribute, every quality, everything that you possess, everybody I'm talking about in general, certain things are contextual and situational. Similarly, if you go and talk to some children or somebody, say about art or music or something, you can't explain it to them in a mathematical formula, right? You have to talk to them in the level of emotions. Similarly, the feminine, the polarized feminine, has an emotional nature. She is emotional, sensitive, and this and that, whatever you want to call her. So, even for her, in certain situations, that level of emotions or that level of sentiments don't help. Those type of sentiments are going to give her pain and misery, which is why we call intensity. We call it intensity, emotional intensity. So both of them are struggling in their own respective individual auras or personality or whatever you want to call it, because they don't know how to use what they have in the right place. So what they do is they use their quality or whatever attributes they have in everything the same way. There is no difference. Okay. Again, as I say, that everything is contextual. How you do one thing is how you do everything. Even this is contextual. So if you have a habit of using the same attribute or the same quality, the same way of understanding, the same methodology, you are going to apply it in everything, it will give you the same results. So whether it is emotions, whether it is logic, or whether it is money making, or whether it is anything else, they will use the same style. So which is why in the initial phase of the twin flame dynamic, after the recognition, one person is materialistically very strong and the other person is spiritually very strong. So it is great to be spiritually strong and it is great to be materialistically strong also. But having only one of it is not the idea of how you are supposed to sustain on earth. Because when you are on the earth plane, you need to play by the rules of the earth plane. Every dimension has certain rules and regulations, right? So that's why we take care of ourselves. That's why we do the prayer of protection. That's why we do certain, activities. That's why we perform certain rituals, or that's why we chant, or that's why we meditate, because these are certain rules that if you want to live a certain type of life on planet Earth, then you need to do these things. You need to clear your energy out, or else you will also live in the state of ego. And in the materialistic reality, the bigger the ego is, the bigger the materialistic success is, depending on what type of success that person wants. Is it name? Is it fame? Is it money? There are so many people. Is it beauty? Is it sex? It is what? Partners. So there are so many people, they may not have so much money, but they have a lot of recognition and fame. And if people go and meet them, they see, oh, this man lives in such a simple house, or this man is like this, or this woman is like this. But you know what? So many people like her or love her. So they create a likability factor around them where more people are liking them. So if you put them on a majority-minority point of view, you will see that majority of the people they meet and they talk to, they like them. Because in the materialistic worldly world standpoint, they are very good. So when this empath and narcissistic struggle happens, a lot of empath tell me that I don't have any friends. I am always alone. My family doesn't like me or doesn't agree with me. My relatives don't agree with me. My friends, of course I don't have friends, so there's the reason why I don't have friends is very clear. Because obviously they don't agree to me and I don't agree with them in anything. If I have to get my work done, I will get it done. I will hire people, or I will do this, or I will do that. Simple as that. I don't rely on other people and other people don't rely on me as well. So from certain point of view, it is great because living by yourself is great. Not depending on other people is great. Doing your own thing is also great. There's nothing wrong. But since we are a social being, there has to be some kind of interaction or some interactive activity that you perform. So most of the twin flames, DM and DF, slowly and gradually, they realize that I cannot be completely extreme. Okay, I am a spiritual person, but I still cannot be extreme. Even spiritual masters or teachers, eventually they start giving out their information to other people. Why? Because they have so much of it and they cannot keep it within. If they try to keep it within, it starts rotting. A lot of people ask, why do all enlightened masters or people who get the knowledge, why do they start teaching it to others? Why do they start giving it to others? That's because they cannot keep it to themselves. They just cannot. They know it will not be beneficial for them. It's better to share what they have. That's the rule of planet Earth. If you have something, share it. Because you can't take it with you any which way. So when you're a materialistic person, when you're in the polarized masculine energy, you don't want to share. You don't want to share at all because you're like, it's mine. I'm gonna keep it. Even in emotional state of mind, I don't want to share someone with anyone. See, if you look at the mother-in-law, the sister-in-law of the masculine who are difficult, or the toxic, you feel she's toxic karmic, or some other friends, or anyone for that matter, when you look at these people, you can see some aspect of you in them, and then you can let it go. Like if you look at the mother-in-law, she's very possessive. Like maybe you're still not the daughter-in-law, maybe she's the potential one, or you had an experience of literally a mother-in-law while you were in the false twin dynamic. Because your false twin's mother-in-law acted just like any other mother-in-law would. And she treated you very badly. So she did not exercise love and, unconditional love or compassion. She was the other type of mother-in-law, the hunter, the dominating one. Say for example, you had that experience and it hurt you. You can learn from her that she's being so possessive of her son. The SIL and the MIL, they don't want to let the son go to someone else. They cannot tolerate that the son is in love with someone who is different from the son and even different from us. So they are going to try to, tell him things about the feminine. She's not good. Constantly any moment they'll find, or any activity or any situation he's in, wherever the discussion happens, they will make sure that they speak negatively about it, about her, or try to brainwash him, because they want him to himself. They cannot share him. They do not like it when he is loving someone else unconditionally. So that is a toxic trait. Now, when we see these type of people, we need to look within and we need to cross-check. Am I also doing the same thing? Just in case. Maybe I have not realized it. Maybe it's my flaw that I don't like to share what I have with me. Maybe they are just in my life to show me that I have gifts, I have some kind of interesting thing going on in my life, or maybe it's the love only. Maybe when it comes to money, because usually emotional people don't care about money, so that's why they're bankrupt, or they have less money than the ones who are not emotional. The practical people will always have saving in the bank. They will buy some FDs, they will do this. And I'm not saying that they're also completely practical. They don't have any emotion. So they live completely on practicality, which is also absolutely wrong. So sooner or later, whenever it is meant to happen, the masculine and the feminine, they start to give birth to one another within themselves. Feminine starts doing masculine activities. She is not that emotional. She doesn't care about many things. She likes to believe that, she can do anything. See, when you look at physical strength also, not all men are like Hulk. So many men I have seen, they are shorter than the women sometimes, or they are skinny, or they are thin, or whatever. But just the fact that they are conditioned, they are told since childhood that you're a man, you can do this, you can lift it, you can push it, you can, physically do this and that. Now she has to program herself and say to herself that I don't need a man to do this for me. I will do it myself. So she learns to take care of herself. She learns to make her own money. She becomes a provider. But at the same time, she keeps her feminine essence intact. So she uses both. And he on the other side starts thinking, maybe I should be a bit like this, like that. He starts becoming a nurturer. He starts expressing himself in artful manner. He starts doing some activity, wherein all of these things come out more clearly. It is more visible in his personality. Okay. So both of them, they become each other's masculine and feminine counterparts first. That is what we call the fifth dimensional union. Because once that fifth dimensional union happens, then on its own, you won't even get to know when the 3D manifestation takes place. But once again, I would like to point it out over here that since right now, some of you could be understanding or perceiving 3D union as something XYZ. 3D union may not also be what you're thinking it to be. Because you don't know who was the first person you fell in love with, or what being you as a child you saw and you fell in love with. What was the first place you fell in love with? What was the first activity you fell in love with? We keep falling in love all the time. What was the first, type of money-making profession you fell in love with? So many things people fall in love with, but they don't know about it because they just don't know what love is. They look at love as something very scary sometimes. So how to get rid of opposite polarity? It's very simple. You don't have to live in duality. If you live in duality, you will be in those polar energies. You'll constantly be running or chasing or whatever. No matter how hard you try, no matter what you think, no matter what you do, you will be in those polar energies. Opposite and polar. The only way is duality to singularity. You can make this song your anthem. I have already shared it. So duality to singularity. It is actually the journey. The whole song from the beginning till the end. I don't know how many of you have seen the music video, but right in the beginning, in the front, the first thing you see in the channel introduction is this song, Duality to Singularity. And I wrote this song in 2015 or 16. 2015 is when I was writing it. I think 16 onwards, I started working on it and I created a song and a lyrical music video and this and that. Even I don't know how I did it, to be very honest. Like most of the things that have been happening in my life, I don't know how that song happened and how it was obviously channeling only, but a different type of channeling. And I was told that maybe right now many people will not understand what is this duality to singularity, but some specific people will understand it, they will like it and they will know the message and it will uplift them to see that this is possible. It is possible to be actually experiencing one love. One love is all we need. Okay. So my friends, this is where I will close this channeling session. If you have any questions, please feel free to write it. And I truly appreciate all of those people who like, comment and share and try to spread this information, this knowledge to other people. And once again, I want to thank people who are doing inner work. If you need any personal sessions, hand-holding, therapy most importantly, then you can write to me at thesunamoon@gmail.com. Kindly do not share your twin flame journey in advance with me because we will share it in a step-by-step process while we do work and while we do assignments. By work, I mean inner work. So I'll see you soon in another one. One love and peace out and Jai Shri Ram.